Getting a job is not easy. There's all kinds of layers to getting a job. Who you know matters, that's for sure. Good luck with online things. Those check boxes will get you every time, put you in some pile no one ever sees your resume. It's not easy. I can understand why young people are not motivated to get jobs these days. Not to mention the attractiveness of celebrity and side hustle is being sold to them in every third post on Instagram. So why would you go get a real job when someone for $2,000 will teach you how to do this? Understand, they're not actually doing this. They're just teaching you how to do this. Because if you could make enough money doing this, they didn't need to teach you. There's so many things that our kids are influenced by that, like we weren't, right? Like X-ray glasses on the back of a comic book. That's what we were influenced by. That's how simple it was back in the day. So we need to have a conversation of it. The phrase is blaming youth for unemployment is the wrong narrative. Joining me now for a conversation to dig into this is Adam Froman, founder and CEO of Davinia, longtime entrepreneur, do all things tech. And you've been through all ends of it, Adam, right? Like you started young, you built things up, and then businesses were sold and went away and jobs changed. And so you've had your own fair share of getting a job and finding the next one.
Well, thanks for having me. I think your intro is amazing. Yes. And also having gone through the experience of having a successful exit and then having time to reflect about not only, I just turned 60 this year, reflecting on my career and how I've come to where I am today, it really has kind of allowed me to look at where generations have been, including myself. When I finished MBA in 1992, there were no jobs then. But we didn't have any, the internet to go look up jobs. Weren't able to find things. The Globe and Mail had one page of jobs, and you had to kind of sit back and say, what am I going to do? I had an engineering degree and MBA, but I couldn't get a job. Different in terms of what youth are facing today, but I can definitely, reflect on that. And then when I, building my companies, having to go through it as well.
Well, the age-old story about, well, you're going to need some experience before you come work for us, young man. Well, then how am I supposed to get experience? I mean, that cycle, the cart before the horse, has been happening forever. It still happens today. So in some ways, we haven't gone very far at all.
Well, the funny thing now is, there isn't probably a millennial or a Gen Z who isn't using ChatGPT to say, what should I do to get a job? And reflecting and try to AI to have that magic bullet. And I recommend everyone try that, even if you don't need a job, to kind of see what AI basically and these large language models say about it. And I see it coming back at me with a lot of the kids that have called me, and I'll mentor, and they become very not really creative in terms of how they want to passionately find their career. And many of them think they should just finish their school and step into a job, and everyone is going to love that. And I think what's happened is the past few years, I would say right now we're at a bit of a perfect storm. And that's because, COVID changed things dramatically. I don't know, your industry was definitely hammered by COVID. Mine, I had a really interesting challenge because I was owning technology companies which were using digital technologies. We doubled in size, but we also went completely remote, and I had 50% turnover because everyone was losing their mind. So the challenge, it became an employee market that anybody could get a job and work at home the way they wanted to. That's changed. We've gone through the whole interest rate thing and the fear of tariffs and the economic slowdown, and that's having a huge impact on companies not hiring or being very tentative how they hire with a ton of people on the market. And then there's that big elephant in the room, and that everyone talks about, is AI. And is AI going to be a bubble? Is it here to stay? But it definitely is affecting a lot of job opportunities at those lower level or entry type jobs.
We adapted, though. I mean, if the notion is don't blame the youth for the unemployment rates, I get that. We also adapted and found our ways to navigate it in every example you gave there, Adam. I mean, for me, cutting through in radio when I was a young man in radio trying to get my next job, move up from my $12,000 a year salary, the answer came in my cassette, because we used cassettes back then. This is dating myself too. It was around the same time that you were getting your MBA. here's what you were doing. You were getting an MBA and I was taking cassettes and I was wrapping them in bright yellow neon paper for the insert on the cassette. So when there was a pile of cassettes on the boss's desk that you were applying for the job for, there was one that stuck out that was yellow. So we learn to adapt. We learn to find ways to do things. Are the young folks, do you think, through your conversations, adapting enough?
I think some are doing a great job, but there's a lot of helicopter parents out there who have been there in our generation that are protecting their kids and trying to create the easiest path for them. Hey, not dissimilar for you. I spent probably a year working for free when I finished my MBA, and it wasn't like I was looking for work, but I found this really cool medium called multimedia, and I went and worked with an association and just got involved, and I ended up becoming the president of this volunteer association. But we were getting 200-300 people out a month to our meetings. Next thing I know, I'm presenting in front of the CRTC whether they can regulate the internet. And that was that resilience and resourcefulness that we had to get to, to go and do what we had to do. And eventually, it led me down a path working for Deloitte and then starting my business, but I got a job from it. I think what's happening now is the effort of a lot of, we'll call it there's different groups, right? There's the 18 to 22, and then there's the ones that graduate 22 and after. The challenge I find a lot of them is they don't have that same resilience that we had to just creatively think on our own. Let's try this. Let's keep on failing. It's, until something works. While you put yellow wrappers on cassettes, I would spray women's perfume on my resume and then send it in. And someone would smell it and think it was going to be a little freaked out by it, but they'd open up your resume. Whether that worked or not, I don't think it really ended up working, but you tried things, you did things, you were being resourceful. I think we're at a stage now that if it gets tough enough, I think you're going to see that resourcefulness of that generation. I think they're just sort of resisting it because things came so easy to them for so long.
Champagne dreams on a Pepsi skill set is kind of what most of us start with anyway. And you've got to find a way to adapt.
But how many 22-year-olds do you see doing bottle service at clubs downtown? I don't know. I wasn't doing that or going on incredible trips and adventures at 22. I was like, I just need to get a job. So I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if it's a mindset thing, but all I know is that there's a resetting happening right now, and it's going to require them to be resourceful. Look, we all used our networks and where we could to help us get a leg up, but it's just going to take some interesting efforts. And one of the really interesting ones that I've been kind of coaching some of these young people that just call me up and want advice is that they're all using AI in their lives now. But one of the biggest challenges for companies, whether it will work or not, whether it doesn't, they're trying to figure out, how does AI affect my business? How does it affect these jobs? So I've actually encouraged some of the people that have gotten good at AI, because some of them can actually do programming of applications using AI. They've gotten so proficient at it. Go in and volunteer at a company and just say, I'll help you with your AI. I'll help you understand it. I'll educate you and see where it goes. And you know what that happens? Then what happens is you start building a relationship, and it's really going to be your soft skills. Are you bright? Are you resourceful? And can you make it work?
Yeah, proof of concept really is what you're talking about. And then bringing value is what it is. Are you bringing value to the table? And getting the opportunity to bring value is so important. Adam Froman, can we continue this conversation another day? Because I would like to talk about more of this.
Anytime.
All right,
we can
bud.
talk about other stuff too, like
other stuff. Sweet. I like other stuff.
In Canada.
Yeah.
That will create a lot of jobs.
Well, and that's just it, right? Like we need to build business, build ideas. And if it helps one person get a step forward, I love it. All right. Adam Froman was here. We'll come back with more Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift.